banking and finance and generally capital can make a big difference. Money makes the world go around, and certainly everything that I've heard the last few hours here in the Brain Innovation Days just suggests that there is a lot more investment needed, a lot more funding needed. On the research side, a lot of it is, of course, on the basic fundamental research, but also to bring all that research then to market. And this is where, a lot of various financial instruments can be used. Speaking now as a representative of the European Investment Bank, we have a whole toolbox, across the life cycle of companies, whether they are a small startup to a scale up, as they grow bigger and bigger, to a corporate. We have financial solutions like equity or growth capital that we can provide them so that they can grow. So when it comes to brain economy, in order for the investor community to be more engaged, we need to understand where are the financing gaps, where is the money most needed, at what's where are the companies, where are those projects, is it on the infrastructure side, do we need more hospitals, more research institutions, more academic institutions, science labs, do we need, are there biotech companies that are developing treatments, and are they looking for patient capital? So there is therefore a really important role to play, but I would say at this stage, the financial community, I would bet 9 out of 10 people that you may ask would not really have a good understanding what the real needs are and where they can put their capital to use. I think we can learn a lot of lessons, although certainly the green transition also is a work in progress. But what we can learn is already on the narrative and the communication. We now all understand that CO2 needs to be reduced. The emissions need to be reduced. So it's a very clear metric. And a lot of the discussion then is about mitigation. So people now more and more understand that this means that you need to decarbonize, you need to, So if you look at the brain economy, a lot of it is about what makes our brain healthy and how do we mitigate, how do we prevent disease. And in that sense, having the communication, having that understanding, the awareness raising. For instance, in the climate space, we have had the youth play an important role, as advocates. We had the Gretas, we have so many young activists. I would say, and especially given that mental health is also an important topic, we need more of them. We need more activists that actually make it destigmatize also this topic. I think this is perhaps one of the biggest challenges, to really make it a conversation that everybody can have. Second, when it comes to some of the financial instruments, you mentioned green bonds. I guess what we can learn there is if there is a very clear focus of what it means to have an investment go towards what is green, right? And that also developed over the years. So EIB was actually one of the first issuers of the green bonds in 2007, but it took a number of years to understand in the capital markets, what does it mean for a bond to be green? Well, it means that the money that is raised for a bond goes into projects that meet certain criteria. And that, of course, has been developed over the years into a taxonomy. When it comes to brain economy, we would need to also better understand as I mentioned, where the financing needs, what does it mean to invest into the brain economy, so that if you had instruments that are targeting health or targeting even more specifically the brain, you understand where that money is going. But certainly we can learn a lot from, a lot of these things are also really, packaging, marketing tools, ways to get interest and solve the allocation issue of allocating capital where it is most needed. And therefore, what it also requires is the communities of scientists and the financial investors to work more closely together, to talk to each other, And one way of summarizing it is we need more science in finance and more finance in science. So that's how we then bridge the gap.